Hi, I'm Dan Costa, Chief Content Officer at Worth Media Group, and I'm here at South by Southwest 2025. I am with Ruth Yomtoubian, the Head of Innovation at VSP. Ruth, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So you are a South by veteran. You've been here many times before. Your message this year is very unique and appropriate for the times. What brings you to South by this year?
Yeah, well, I'll put it in the context of last year. Last year it was like AI overload. And we were just getting past the binary, the kind of false choice of is this good or is this bad? And one thing I realized is that there's a lot of attention going to entertainment and not as much going to healthcare or value add industries like VSP, like healthcare, like well-being. And so this past year, our team has been on a journey to understand how do we centralize the effort around AI? We stood up an AI studio. And as we go further, we're seeing that a lot of our clients, so we're an employer-sponsored benefit, and a lot of our clients are trying to bring the benefits of AI to optimize their workforce. And so this is a tip of the spear conversation. We're just trying to open up the conversation to say, who's benefiting from AI right now? Mm-hmm. And how are they benefiting? And so far, what we've seen over the last year is that it's individuals and it's small businesses. And at VSP, we have a unique view because we work with employers, we work with members and patients, and we work with providers. So we have a view to the big businesses, the enterprises, and the small businesses. So we're seeing small businesses and entrepreneurs benefit. We're seeing individuals, leaders who are not staying up late at night because they can get help from AI to edit work or create new images, right? And find those efficiencies. So now we want to open up the conversation and say, how are enterprises going to make AI as a benefit for their employees from a health perspective and a productivity perspective, which are actually quite intertwined.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that the individuals, in a lot of ways, ChatGPT became available, everybody could try it, and individuals, the students got to it right away, started cheating on their homework, but individuals are finding their own ways to use these tools, and I think businesses in a lot of ways are a little bit behind. They want to create policies, they want to drive productivity, but like the individuals don't need this explained to them. They see the potential and they're starting to use it.
This is not the first wave of AI, but the difference in this wave of AI is that before you had enterprises opening up big data centers, taking a year or more to hire and fill up a space and determine what use cases to go after and make that large investment over a long time. And now that this is a democratized version of AI, it's shedding a new light on an old tool for the bigger businesses. And so, yes, it's democratized. Small businesses get on more quickly. And suddenly there's a shift in the power dynamic between different companies that wasn't once there before. I mean, even you see that with Perplexity and Google, right? And similarly, we're seeing that shift happen on the provider side, right? Where our providers are, for once, moving more quickly to tools than the larger enterprises. But also, I think what you said about the policy, I think it's necessary, right? I don't want to be one of those innovation people that's saying, oh, let's just go and throw caution to the wind. No, it is important to be measured, especially as a healthcare company. You have sensitive data. You want to have the right guardrails in place. However, you can have both a policy that is not prohibitive and let people start using tools. And I think that's the balance that VSP is on a journey around. And we're realizing other companies are on this journey. Again, back to why we're having this conversation. The last thing I'll say about this is that we experience a culture clash in healthcare where clinicians, they need things 1,000% ready before going into market. Inherently, a lot of AI tools, they don't work unless they're out in the market at 80 or 90 or maybe 99%. And so we're seeing companies, organizations, individuals work through that tension.
We're also in the middle of an AI boom. I know you've given a couple of talks here at South by, and I've heard you use the phrase faux innovation, because everybody wants to do something with AI, and a lot of them don't necessarily care what it is as long as they can say they're doing it. Can you explain that concept a little bit?
Yeah, so I was fortunate to be a part of the first wave of innovation in Silicon Valley and Palo Alto and beyond, like Silicon Valley as an ethos, where companies were leaning in, not to say, when am I going to be disrupted, but how am I part of this? And you could really see the difference between the buzzwords and the performative innovation that was just talk and those who are innovation practitioners, those who roll up their sleeves, have the scar tissue, and really understand the rigor and the balance required and know that it's not just a brainstorming session to innovate, but that you have to iterate, you have to work with the market research and data, and tell a story around indicators. So I'm actually not against promotional innovation, which sometimes gets mixed up with performative innovation. I think it's very important to promote an idea. So, for example, this conversation we're having about AI as a benefit, it's not fully formed. It's I don't even know if we're right. It's more of a, hey, let's put it out there to catalyze and learn from others and promote this idea to understand directionally if we're going the right way and attract those innovation practitioners. But faux innovation is really just, I'm going to throw a hackathon for the sake of it. I'm going to throw out buzzwords, and we're trying to attract those who are, getting dirty, muddy, and the scar tissues that we can all bring together for some lessons learned.
So South by Southwest's part of that journey. You've said this is just the beginning of a conversation you're going to be having. What's next for VSP?
Yeah, so we know that for VSP and for the vision care community, AI is being used to for early detection. So you can go to your optometrist and get a retinal scan, which is a picture of the back of your eye, and it will give you early detection of 270 health conditions. And so you can go and get that today. Not everyone understands the value of a retinal scan, so they don't all get it. And in fact, it's Gen Z from our research that wants this retinal scan
because they've read the most. They're the most up on the data.
They want data. They have grown up with the biomarkers that many of us are just getting used to understanding and having made available. So we've been working with a number of startups in this space who are taking AI, applying them to retinal scans to pattern match to improve early detection of Alzheimer's, early detection of cardiovascular diseases, early detection of diabetic retinopathy, and all these different conditions, figuring out a way that we can build a path to work with partners in the industry to bundle these early detection through the retinal scan and bring them to our members as a benefit. So that's one area where we see line of sight. And of course, our clients, employers, are looking for more ways to be efficient. And that, yes, means supply chain and finances, but it also means having productive employees who are healthy and well and can see, because your sight is very much a part of being well, being able to be out in the world and be productive.
Well, I think it's great because it's actually, you're exploring where AI is becoming real and actually changing people's lives. And it's not the gimmicky part. It's actually improving their health. So I appreciate you coming here, having this conversation, and giving us a little bit of your time. We're going to continue the conversation in a panel. That'll be online as well. But thank you so much for talking to us today.
Yeah, thank you. I think everyone wants to work in an optimized workplace. Benefits are part of that optimized workplace, and so are tools. And AI is a part of both those stories. So we're happy to be a platform for those conversations.
Amen to that. Ruth, thanks so much. I'm Dan Costa with Worth Media Group. If you want more of these conversations, go to worth.com or our channel on YouTube. Thanks for joining us.